Hi, and welcome to my studio. My name's Angela from Clark VO Services, and I get a lot of people that ask what it is exactly that I do, and when they find out what I do, I get questions like, what does that mean? What is a voiceover artist? So sometimes I list the type of things that I do, and when I get to I record audiobooks, it usually piques their interest, and they want to know, how do you do that? How do you get into that? What type of audiobooks do you record? And I can honestly say that's the only question I can answer. I can tell you I record all kinds of audiobooks, all sorts of genres. I don't have one that I don't have one that I favor more than others. I really do enjoy a variety of audiobook recording, but at the moment, I thought I'd give you a sneak peek into the studio since everybody wants to know exactly what it is a voiceover artist does in the studio. So, this is where I work. This is where I record. Sometimes I stand, I lift my screens up and stand. Sometimes I sit like this. I've been working all day, getting tired, so I'm sitting at the moment. But I do like to stand quite a bit for my projects, especially character work or something like that. But this is an audiobook, and I like audiobooks. They're relaxing to me. And this is just a nice story. It's a young adult story. So I'm going to just read the next chapter. It's a cold read. I haven't read it yet. It is translated from a different language, so sometimes there's a little bit of mix-up in the translation, but overall it's pretty good. And I'm just giving you a sneak peek. So stick around, and we'll talk a little bit more after I'm done with this short chapter. Chapter 59. Lily's Point of View. All the tests were positive. I was pregnant. I gripped my hair as I sat down on the cold floor. Endless sobs rocked my small body as I cried harshly. I was positive that someone could hear me a mile away. I pulled and tugged at my short hair as a reassurance that it was actually happening. I wasn't dreaming or hallucinating. The more it sank in, the more I wailed loudly. I moved my hands from my hair and placed them on my covered knees. My nails dug into my sensitive skin until it was unbearable. I hoisted myself up and grabbed the 4 empty boxes and threw them in the small bin that was placed at the right corner of the bathroom. My vision was still blurred from crying hysterically, but I could still make out the dark red lines on the tests as I stared at them. My breathing became uneven as I grasped... I didn't like that either. My breathing became uneven as I grasped one in my shaky hands and brought it up to my eyes. I was actually pregnant. I let it fall down on the counter with a loud clunk. I looked at each one, hoping that it had at least a tiny bit of mistake. It was useless, really, because those dark red lines were prominent and couldn't be erased. I let out a shaky breath and clasped all 4 tests in my clammy hands and walked out of the bathroom. I didn't know what I was doing, but my feet had a mind of their own. And before I knew it, I had my phone in hand, dialing Asher's number. "Lily, baby," Asher's voice rang through the phone. Upon hearing his voice, my throat clogged up, and I hanged up on him. He called back, but I refused to answer. I couldn't speak to him right now. I walked up to the lengthy mirror and raised my sweater to expose my belly. I turned sideways and examined it. A tiny bump was visible and could be mistaken as fat. But I knew better. better. That was Asher's and my baby growing in there. I touched it tenderly and rubbed it. A warm smile lit up my face as I imagined the bump growing. I didn't care what would happen at the moment. All I cared about was keeping our little bean safe. I'm going to be a mom, and Asher will be a dad. Thinking about Asher dampened the mood. And I sighed. I didn't know if I would tell him. I was terrified to see his reaction. What if he rejects me and our baby? What if his parents take my baby away from me? My dad was the richest man in town, but the Grays were the richest in the state. That means they had an upper hand in anything. They already hate me. Imagine if they found out I was pregnant with their grandchild. So with those thoughts in mind, I decided not to tell Asher. I was too terrified to see the outcome of it. If I did. And that thought saddened me that our baby might not know his or her dad. My heart clenched tightly as I thought of not being with Asher again. You're doing it for the baby. But it didn't feel right. I sat on my bed after putting the test in my bedside drawer underneath some colorful tissue papers. I reached out for my phone on the bedside table and dialed the only person I knew I could trust. "Hey, Lily, when are you coming over? Noel and I are at the apartment right now." Rose's cheerful voice spoke. She and Noel were keeping in touch with me during the break. Apparently, everything worked out between them and their parents, and they left on a good note. I was happy for them. "Rose, I need your help," I sniffle. My throat felt dry and sore. "Come over right now," she rushed out and hung up. I nodded, even though I knew that she couldn't see me. I brushed my hair back and looked at the ceiling. Will she judge me? I sighed and got up. I left my phone on the bed and walked out the door to head to their place. I left it there because I didn't want to hear Asher calling me on it. I had decided that I'll give him the cold shoulder, even if I didn't want to. I knew that in a few months my belly would bulge out and I won't be able to hide it any longer from him. That's why I came to the conclusion that I'll get a job and start taking classes online. Hopefully, I'll be able to rent a cheap apartment so that Asher won't know where I am. But knowing Asher, he'll find out sooner or later. Okay, so that's a good place to stop. That's long enough for you to watch this. I just wanted to give you a peek at really what it's like to record an audiobook. And if you're still here, then you must have questions about what it's like to be a voiceover artist, what it's like to record audiobooks. So if you've got questions, I'd be glad to answer. And if you would like to see more of my videos, of course, hit that share button, like, subscribe, all that great social media stuff. And I will see you back here again real soon. Have a great day.